Hey, 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 hey. Good evening, everyone. I know it's late, but hey, I want to say good evening to my beautiful butterflies and fly guys. And listen, I know that it's a late Saturday night. Oops, almost a Sunday morning, actually. But listen, we're so happy to come to you because, listen, I just had to get this subject off my chest. There were so many people talking about it, and I didn't want to chime in at the beginning. I always like to let the full mantra of what everyone has to say be said before I chime in. But listen, I want you to do me a favor and get ready for tonight's show. And I want to get right into our conversation. So without further ado, I want you guys to do me a favor and tell Lottie Dottie and everybody that HeSpoke Fashion is on live. Are you ready, AB? All right. Let's get it. Hit it. Yeah, in the building. HeSpoke Fashion. All right. Again, thank you for joining us, and I'm glad that you've taken time out this late. This conversation. As I said in my opening monologue, I want to get right into our conversation. So as many of you may be aware, a significant story is currently trending concerning Fox Sports. And it's a lawsuit that's initiated by a former stylist, right? So in this lawsuit, the plaintiff, if you haven't heard already, reveals details of a scandal involving her ex-client and former Fox Sports personality, Skip Bayless. Now, according to the lawsuit, the plaintiff, Nushin Faraji, and I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, please forgive me. But Nushi alleges that Skip Bayless, again, a former host at Fox Sports, attempted to coerce her into a sexual relationship by allegedly offering her $1.5 million after she disclosed a cancer scare in 2021. Now, the lawsuit also implicates Joy Taylor, another prominent host, accusing her of advising Faraji to get over it following an incident in which the Fox Sports executive Charles Dixon, and this guy here who has, in my opinion, a very good grade of hair. AB, wouldn't you say that? That's a pretty good grade of hair, right? But Charles Dixon reportedly groped her at a party. And then around June 2024, prior to his exit from the network, Skip Bayless allegedly expressed to Faraji that he fantasized about a sexual relationship with her and inquired about the amount of money it would take for her to comply. Skip, you were misbehaving. Skip. That's how Shannon saw it. Skip. But listen, Faraji reportedly responded that she had already declined his $1.5 million offer and would not change her stance. Now, in response, allegedly, Bayless remarked, "The more you say no, the more I want you," according to the lawsuit. Now, that sounds really bad for old Skip. Skip. But Faraji and Taylor's friendship began in March 2016. That's Joy Taylor. And after Taylor moved to Los Angeles from Miami, the lawsuit says that the suit alleges Faraji and Taylor's friendship ended in late 2021, after which Taylor began insulting the plaintiff. This is what Ms. Faraji is alleging, who is of Iranian descent, on a, quote, personal and professional level, end quote. Now, I cannot ascertain the veracity of her statements. However, the situation is undoubtedly tumultuous, as these allegations threaten to damage reputations and careers, if it hasn't already. Now, what we can learn from this from the onset is that it is essential to exercise caution in selecting friends and confidants within the workplace, as individuals increasingly seek opportunities for personal gain, regardless, and this is for all of us that work a 9-to-5, regardless of the means employed. Allow me to clarify my point, if you will. It has also been reported if you are not already aware that Miss Taylor shared certain confidential information regarding her work relationships with Miss Faraji. Unfortunately for Joy Taylor, Miss Faraji demonstrated a lack of loyalty by allegedly disclosing sensitive information that Joy had confided in her. Now, Nushin has claimed that Joy not only utilized Charles Dixon, you remember the guy with the good hair? Utilized him for her career advancement, but also engaged with former Fox Sports 1 host Emmanuel Acho. Now, I don't know if it's Ocho or Acho, but let's say, for instance, it's Acho. So Emmanuel Acho. Let's give it that name. Now, this leads me to the crux of our discussion, however, this evening. And I know it's late, but guys, stick with me here. Beyond sharing secrets with Nushin Faraji, Joy Taylor has revealed another significant secret through her choices, which is the focal point of our conversation with this topic. And this is the topic here. The topic is simply this: Joy Taylor's choice of Emmanuel Acho over Jason Whitlock has unveiled this secret that Black men need to know. Okay, I want to talk to my friends out there. I want to talk to the brothers out there. So to know, before we go any further, AB, before we get into the discussion, could you please share our disclaimer, all right? All right. So here's our disclaimer, guys. Read it. But I understand that many discussions that you've probably already heard concerning this conversation, this topic, have focused on Joy's behavior. Many have just really seized an opportunity to chastise and to ridicule Joy's behavior. However, I would like to take a different approach and delve deeper into the potential insights this trending topic can provide. Now, my aim is for all of us to grow and to learn from this situation. You see, Joy Taylor's visibility throughout this lawsuit has led many individuals, including former employees of Fox Sports, to voice their opinions on the issue, even though they are neither directly involved nor mentioned even in the legal proceedings. Now, among those commenting is Jason Whitlock, who's the host of the Fearless podcast, who has also weighed in on the situation. Now, let us explore Whitlock's perspective, right? I want to explore this on these allegations, and I want to examine how he has integrated himself into the narrative. Let's watch.
Don't say this to be hypercritical of Joy Taylor. I don't have harsh opinions of Joy Taylor. She's not someone that I didn't get along with. I basically, for the most part, just kept my distance from Joy Taylor. And I kept my distance not because I didn't like her. It's just because I knew myself. I know myself. I know what I'm capable of. And that big rack of hers that she showed off constantly, it's just, and that peanut butter skin with that big rack, like, Jay, keep your distance. That's going to get you into trouble. And so that's what I did. I kept my distance. Because when you put some woman in a job, talking sports with a bunch of men, it's a job she's not qualified for. She's talking sports with professional athletes, people that did it at the highest level. She's talking sports with me or Colin Cowherd or other people that have really studied sports at a super high level. What does she have to offer other than her sex appeal? And so should we be surprised that she leaned into that? And I don't.
All right. Guys, you heard Whitlock's remarks, and I must express that this clip demonstrates both his comedic tendencies and, in my opinion, a degree of delusion. Now, this sentiment arises from specific statements he made, which prompt me to question whether he is being entirely honest, not only with his viewers, but with himself. Now, many have suggested that Whitlock's remarks indicate that he is inserting himself into this narrative due to feelings of exclusion, as this meme also suggests. Now, I'll tell you, the internet is undefeated. I mean, it doesn't sound like, it sounds like he's trying to interject himself into this narrative. Now, these commenters seem to share the sentiment that this is all cap.
Stop the cap.
That's right, from Mr. Whitlock. Let's look at a few comments. This commenter, Lex Smooth 720, says, "Oh, he was smashing the butter biscuits." Yeah. Biscuits. Okay, all right. Let's look at another comment. This commenter says, Goriela Inc. says, LMAO, he looks like he's used to sitting in the corner watching couples go at it type. That's what type he looks like. Bruh. All right, let's look at another comment. This commenter, refrained from being lame, says, blank the only one the freak said blank nah to, rolling on the floor laughing. So he must be upset because, hey, maybe he didn't get a chance. Let's look at another comment. This commenter, Trendset Drew 88, says, if Skip, come on, Skip. If Skip can pay $1 million, I know he'll pay whatever, because he say he do. All right, so I see that some others had a bit to say about Mr. Whitlock, and maybe Mr. Whitlock has been deceived. But the pivotal moment for me was his assertion, I don't know if you guys caught it or not, when he says, I quote, I knew myself. I know myself. I know what I'm capable of. Now, this statement reveals a significant delusion, particularly in his belief that he is on the same level as Emmanuel Acho. Did you guys hear that? He believes that if he looks in the mirror, he sees Emmanuel. And that's a problem not only for Jason Whitlock, but that's a problem for a lot of us. Let's move on. Now, this issue extends beyond Jason Whitlock. It reflects a broader challenge, again, faced by many young black men who have yet to uncover the insights that people like myself in the older generation have often discovered. And it is evident from the circulated photographs featuring Whitlock that he frequently entertains numerous women. Yeah, Jason the player. Seemingly as many as his financial resources allow. Now, one thing is for certain, two things for sure. He is undoubtedly paying for these interactions. Come on, you know that he is. Yeah, cash rule. That's what I'm just saying. He said it himself. He said it himself, allegedly. But how can we be certain that Whitlock did not have an opportunity with Joy Taylor? Let's allow Joy, let's allow Miss Taylor to share her perspective directly.
Is from Shu Cobby, and they asked, what is the most important trait a man has to possess to date you? Confidence. You have to be confident in who you are. You have to be confident in what you want. You have to be confident in how you move around the world, confident in what you do with yourself, confident in how you approach relationships and friendships. Confidence is such a key factor in dating. I am a very loud, brash, direct, outside person. I host shows. I have a big social network. I have friends. I travel. I am very assertive. I am very convicted in what I think and believe and feel. And I am also a very private, soft person inside of the relationship that I am in. There are a lot of things with me. I'm not an easy person. And I'm not a difficult person intentionally. That is just what I am. So in order to be with me, you have to be confident, and not fake confidence, not arrogance, not projection, truly confident in who you are in every aspect. Because in order to have real conversations, you have to be confident. In order to be able to be with someone who is in the public eye, you have to be confident. There's so many different things, that boxes that confidence checks when it comes to, in my opinion, successful relationships. But particularly with me, if someone is insecure or they're dealing with, demons from past relationships.
All right, guys, I had to interrupt the lovely Miss Joy Taylor, but you heard this excerpt from Joy as discussed on her podcast, The Too Personal Show. Now, her insights, if you heard her, reveal that she values confidence in a potential partner. Furthermore, she emphasized this confidence must be genuine rather than a facade, not fake confidence. Let's deal with what fake confidence looks like, all right? Now, first and foremost, a trait indicative of authentic confidence, as demonstrated by Whitlock in his commentary about Joy Taylor. I don't know if you guys caught it, but it's overcompensation. See, his claim that he knows what he is capable of reflects this tendency, in my opinion, revealing a failure to acknowledge that the decision to pursue a romantic relationship is not solely based on only his abilities. Did you get that? That it's just not what you think you can do. It's about whether or not the person you're trying to do it with will allow you to do what you think you can do. Bruh. Now listen, additionally, his comments regarding her physique, including the reference to the peanut butter skin. Now that evokes a stereotypical image reminiscent of an old drunk lingering outside a corner store with catcalls that almost sound like he's a perverted old uncle oozing from his lips. It suggests an attempt to divert attention from his own physical appearance and highlighting underlying self-esteem issues. So if I can just focus your attention on what she has going on, then maybe you won't pay attention what I'm lacking. That's what the problem is. So he was overcompensating. And furthermore, his name dropping. Okay, you heard him. He name dropped Colin Cowherd, and that exemplifies this behavior, which is often associated with overcompensating. Overcompensation. Guys, listen to me close. Listen to this. I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to give you some game. Never overcompensate. Never overcompensate. You know why? Because most of the time, people know when you're doing it. Moving on. Secondly, Mr. Whitlock exhibited no signs of vulnerability. Now, hear me close, guys. Because listen, I understand that societal norms often discourage men from displaying vulnerability. However, I want you to understand that it is essential to recognize that humility and vulnerability, while closely related, are distinct concepts. So many people conflate the two because of their similarities. So let me explain. When a man fails to acknowledge his weaknesses and his mistakes, opting instead to conceal his true feelings behind a facade of bravado, this behavior reflects avoidance of vulnerability rather than genuine humility. And so you don't want to show, because of societal norms, you don't want to show the fact that you can be vulnerable. But what you can show is a sense of genuine humility. And listen, fellas, I'm telling you, women know the difference. They know when someone lacks vulnerability and they're all just bravado. You're just all big and you're in your chest. Everything is in your chest. And you're boasting instead of being humble. Another characteristic of fake confidence, which, if you were listening, Joy expressed she wished to avoid. And I would argue that many women share this sentiment, is this inherent fear of failure. Guys, you got to hear me close, because you got to see what I'm going to talk about when I talk about Little Baby. I know his album was released, but I'm going to talk about this fear of failure. But here, when we look at Jason Whitlock and Joy Taylor, a man who displays fake confidence often harbors a deep-seated fear of inadequacy. Now, this fear was exemplified, in my humble opinion, by Jason Whitlock, who claims to understand his identity, yet he chooses to distance himself from Miss Taylor. Now, come on, guy. If you know, come on, my guy. If you know that you got what it takes, why then would you try to stay away from Miss Taylor? See, I would categorize this behavior as a classic case of avoidance due to the fear, get this, guys, the fear of rejection on a romantic level. You see, men like Whitlock often shy away from risk, as such risk might reveal their flaws or reveal their vulnerabilities. Now his reluctance may stem from a perception that he pales in comparison to other men. Now, see, I know men, we talk about women and the fact that women fear being compared, but could it be true that some men feel being compared as well? See, a fear that can be profoundly unsettling for many, this fear of being compared. Now, just let me pose a question to you. Are you one of those men who feel apprehensive about approaching women due to concerns that you may not measure up? Listen closely, everyone. The fear of failure should serve as a catalyst, a trigger for you to strive for the best version of yourself, particularly when you recognize that your competition, your competitors, the ops, include individuals implicated in this lawsuit, such as Emmanuel Acho, who are also alleged to have had a relationship with Joy. That was the opposition. Now, reports indicate that Emmanuel and Joy Taylor were involved in a relationship during their pursuit of a position on his show, or her pursuit, of a position on his show, Speak for Yourself. You guys remember that show? Now, one can readily observe that Emmanuel embodies qualities that Jason Whitlock does not. I know, listen, if you just open up your eyes, you'll see the difference. Now, Emmanuel exudes a level of confidence that many, and I would say many women, may find appealing, as Joy said that she did. And it is evident that there is a palpable chemistry between them, even captured in this photo. This photo speaks for itself. Now, I find it amusing that if we were in an office setting and we observed these two individuals together, many of us would readily assume that they were a couple. Why? What accounts for this assumption? Why? And this, listen, this is a serious question. Why do we instinctively associate their pairing with a romantic relationship rather than considering other possibilities, that perhaps they're related, perhaps they're just really good friends, perhaps they're just two strangers that just met at that moment and were having a conversation? Why is it that during your coffee break, if you see two attractive people, do you automatically assume that there's something going on? Well, I will explain why I believe it to be true. See, it is my belief that the union of two attractive individuals is something that garners widespread admiration. Now, society generally delights in witnessing attractive couples, and we often find ourselves curious about the dynamics when an attractive person is paired with someone who may not be perceived as being attractive. Now, this reaction is quite simply a facet of human nature. Nonetheless, right? You see someone, because we like power couples. We like to see a power couple. We like to see the Jay-Z's and Beyoncé's. We like to see these powerful couples. We like to see great-looking couples. You remember when Eric Benet and Halle Berry were together, we said, wow, this is a great-looking couple. Now, it didn't work out. But nonetheless, we wanted to see them as a couple. But I digress. Now, we would also question the validity of the allegations arising from this lawsuit. I know I would. If Joy were perceived as unattractive and it was claimed that she was engaged in a romantic relationship with Emmanuel. In contrast, if the allegations involved Jason Whitlock, we might be more inclined, now this is just me, to accept them as true. If it was an unattractive woman and it was Jason Whitlock, then we would accept that, yeah, they probably had an affair. I don't know. I like Jason Whitlock. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to share with young men that sometimes there's levels to this. There's levels to this. And you can't just assume just because a woman may be attractive and a woman may be going after career goals, wink, wink, that you are automatically interjected as being an option, because there are levels to this. So this discrepancy arises from our differing perceptions of Jason and Emmanuel. Now, when we encounter Emmanuel, our perceptions are influenced significantly by his appearance. Now, his polished attire and grooming suggest a level of ambition and professionalism. Now, we also observe that he exudes confidence, again, which Joy Taylor has emphasized as a crucial quality that a man must possess to capture her attention for a potential date. Now, in that is where the secret, remember I said it's the secret unveiled by Joy Taylor's choice of Emmanuel Acho over Jason Whitlock. And I'm going to help you, and I'm going to try to bring this home, but let me tell you a story. AB, storytime music, please. Now, guys, listen, this was a time back in college, during my college years. And a couple of friends of mine, shout out to Trevor and Sherman, we participated in our freshman talent showcase. Now, we chose to perform a beautiful song by Keith Sweat called I Want Her for that event. Now, we aimed to incorporate a young woman as a muse for our song. So I approached a beautiful female upperclassman to take on this role. And guys, during the performance, I would say you last night, saw you standing there. I was killing it. And she gracefully walked across the stage, engaging with both me and the audience. And she was doing remarkably well until we reached the chorus, where the line, I wanna, elicited a response from the college athletes in the audience, who then responded and shouted, we had her. Oh my God, creating a call and response dynamic reminiscent of traditional church songs in the Baptist church. Now, I felt a sense of embarrassment and concern for her in that moment. However, after speaking with her backstage, I was relieved to hear her perspective. Now, she expressed that the comments did not bother her, as she was confident those men had not truly had her, nor would she have even shown interest in any of them. Now, guys, hear me close, because this interaction revealed to me a profound insight that I continue to hold as true, and that's simply this. Men who engaged don't boast about it, while those who do not often lie about it. Yeah, that's right. Now, listen, guys, there is fundamentally one distinguishing factor that separates Jason Whitlock from Emmanuel Acho, And this factor may significantly influence your being on one side of the debate versus the other side. So listen, let me talk to our young men. Now, and you know what? I'm not even gonna say I'm just talking to the young men. I'm giving game to all men. How about that? So the key insight and the secret revealed here tonight is when you present yourself with the confidence and style of Emmanuel, this is the response you can expect to receive. Let's show that. All right. You saw that. You saw when the Emmanuel character said what he said to his female colleague, he got one response. However, when you choose to represent yourself dressed like Jason, then this is the response that you get. All right, guys, I'm having fun here. I hope you see that, because it is important to exercise caution as unforeseen circumstances can arise at any moment. Now, guys, listen. I want you to understand just by those two clips, as you see here, when Emmanuel made the same remark that Jason made, the outcomes were totally different. Why? Because the person hearing them saw them differently. And that's what you have to understand, that just because you may be in the same position, just because you may make the same amount of money, you may have the same height, does not mean that the women perceive you to be the same. You got to understand that. That's why we're arguing, and you're saying that you're a high value man, and the woman is looking at you like, I don't care. You're not high value to me. And what I'm trying to do is give you enough information that you can become a high value man that everyone sees as high value. Listen, family, we have now come to the end of our show, and I appreciate you for continuing to rock with HeSpoke Fashion. Listen, I know I really enjoy you. Guys, I really enjoy you. Listen to my YouTube there in the chat. Go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share. Listen, if you like this content, please do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that like button. It's free. Won't charge you a dime. And share this with someone else. That's all I've had for you tonight. I want you to have a good night, good fashion, and remember, HeSpoke Fashion to you. See you next time. Hope you'll be back to join us. All right? Yeah! Let's go! Good night.